Yeah. My name's John Higo. I'm Chief Instructor at Leeds Cage. That's my usual start for 10.
Do you mind telling me like how old you are?
I'm 63, shortly to be 64.
Where and when were you born?
I was born in Leeds, 1956.
So what weight class have you fought in before?
Fighting wise, I think I had my first fight at about 6 stone. Yeah, as a schoolboy boxer. That were in 1968. Then I've fought open weight. Used to regularly compete at 63 kilograms when I were older, when I'd grown up. Fought at flyweight, which is 8 stone. I used to weigh in at about 7 stone 12. And fought at 65, 66, 69 kilograms. And then I went into open weight, where I just fought anybody.
Can you give us like a brief on the history of your fighting?
Like I say, it started with, as a kid, schoolboy boxer. Did that, started at probably when I was 12. But I come from a long line of sort of boxers. You know, it was like the expected thing to be a boxer. But I had to make my own way there, you know, and I started training at Burley ABC, which no longer exists now, like in about 1968, 67, 68, something like that. And used to travel down there, train 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. And I boxed till I was about 16. Then I stopped training for a bit, you know, birds and all that sort of stuff and being a dick. And then I got into martial arts when I was 17. Started learning traditional Shotokan karate. But I could already fight, you know what I mean? I knew how to fight. I'd been in the ring plenty of times. But I wanted to, you know, I just wanted to learn something else, do something else. And stuck with the karate for quite a number of years. And then about 1975, 75, 76, moved over to sort of kickboxing, because kickboxing was in its infancy at that time. It was just coming over. They just started doing it in the States. And it was the old full contact, what they call full contact kickboxing, where it were all kicks above the waist and that. And while I was training in karate, I was training in Japanese jiu-jitsu and atemi-jutsu. I did that alongside that. And spent most of my time, you know, practically every evening I was training, you know. And even when I was a kid and I was boxing, I'd be training Monday nights, Wednesday nights, Friday nights, and then on nights when I wasn't training, I'd have my tracksuit on and be going out running around woods and stuff like that, and around streets, which were unusual in them days. There was no such thing as joggers, you know what I mean? Running around a council estate, everybody used to throw things at you. It's just one of them things, but were unusual. I thought we were running away from someone. Yeah. And just been there, competed in many different aspects. Done all sorts. You know, competed in sport jiu-jitsu, competed in kickboxing, in all its different forms, because kickboxing comes in many, many different forms. You know, it's a massive sport. You know, most of the stuff were on the open circuit, but I used to do fight nights as well. Fight nights were more of a treat, really, where you'd only go and have one fight, where on the open circuit, you know, if you got to finals, you usually had 4 or 5 fights, you know, in the course of a day, you know, getting from there. And it's a very competitive environment. It's great background, great way to go. You know, and I were also in martial arts when it was in its infancy. When I first started going to karate, there hardly anybody in class. Then all the kung fu movies and all that came out, and suddenly classes were rammed, absolutely rammed, and it was the kung fu boom and stuff like that. But I started just before then, you know, and I've just stuck with it. It's a big part of my life.
Yeah, so you've like mentioned about your family, like the whole line of like.
There's been people boxing in my family for hundreds of years, from bare knuckle boxers and stuff like that. It's part of the thing. You know, I've come from sort of Romany blood. You know, my grandmother, she was actually born in a Vado, you know, gypsy caravan. You know, so I've got Romany blood in me, and they had to be able to fight. And also, it goes with the background. You know, being able to look after yourself because, you know, they're outcasts. So it helped. Even some women in family going back generation, they could fight as well. They had to be able to, you know, how it was. You know.
So, like, what countries have you fought in before? Like what's
I've
the
only
like-
fought in this country.
What?
I've only fought in this country, me personally. I've taken fighters to other countries, but I've only ever fought in this country. But I've, you know, fought people from all over. I've fought Spanish guys. I fought in a world championship in Leeds, and I fought Argentinian, Japanese, various people. There's just opponents, really. You know, fought all kinds of people. It's what you do. I couldn't tell you how many actual fights I've had. Nobody keeps. If you've been out on open circuit, you don't keep record. You go, oh, you know, I've had so many fights. You don't, you know. You just go there and you compete. You class it on your sort of tournament wins. You know, how many tournaments have you won? And it takes a lot to win a tournament. Back in the day as well, especially. You know, because, like I say, I were in at the beginning of the martial arts. You know, when I first started boxing, I don't think anybody were doing karate in Leeds. You know, and also we've all moved on from karate. You know, definitely. You know, the way karate's taught, you know, unless you've got guys like, there's a lot of it coming round now where people actually understand. You know, the karate, going from the boxing gym where everybody were on first name terms, and then going into a karate dojo where you're all in white suits and it's sensei and bow and all that sort of thing. The boxing gym was much more relaxed, produced better fighters as well. Because everybody were like, oh, the secret's in the kata, but half the silly twats that were teaching you didn't know the fucking understanding of the kata. They didn't know it. Now you've got people, some really good people coming through. A big fan of Ian Abernathy. If I, you know, he's a lot younger than I am, but if I'd have had a karate instructor like him when I first started, I'd still be doing karate. It's just like teaching mixed martial arts. You know, real big fan of his stuff, watch a lot of his stuff. You know, this is one of the constant things. You know, I've been a black belt for over 40 years, but you've got to be a perpetual white belt. You've got to be willing to learn. If you get some silly bastard saying, oh, you know, I've got my black belt, that's it. No, it ain't. It's the beginning. And you've got to study, and I still study loads of different fighting forms and things, you know, to improve my teaching and to improve myself as well. You know, it's what I'm into. You know, I'm into it. I'm hook, line and sinker. I'm into martial arts.
John, like, can you like pause for like a second or two, like when I'm like right after I ask the question, yeah. So like leaves like a leeway for us to like cut and edit it, like yeah. Like,
Whatever you want.
yeah, just pause for like.
I can give you one question answers. I can do an Alan Shearer on you.
Yeah, just pause for like 2 seconds. Yeah, when I like right after I ask the question. what's your like favorite fight of all time? Like the fight you have watched?
It depends on where you're coming from, what style, really. You know, there's different people. You know, I can watch a sport karate guy and really appreciate the movement that he does and what he does within that genre. I can look at a Thai fighter and really appreciate what he does, you know, and how he moves and that. Semi-contact fighter. It's all about movement. That's what I do. I study movement. So as per se, who's my favourite fighter of all time? I ain't got one. There's loads of, they're all gifted in different ways, different things that they do.
So yeah, how did you like form your passion for this sport?
Sorry?
How did you form your
Form a passion?
Yeah.
It's just like some people love football. You know, I personally don't. I think it's boring. But I just like it. It's great. You know, it's the actual thing. It's like when you watch a tennis player and he scores, it's the thing. And they're great. They're all athletes in any sport and all that. And then you'll see them going, oh, yes, and all that sort of stuff. Yeah? Every sport's a representation of combat. It's just that we do combat.
So at what point in your life did you decide you're going to make a living out of fighting?
I never made a living out of fighting. I've never been paid for a fight in my life. I was an amateur fighter. There is no money to be made out of it. You know, if you're a big ticket seller, you can make money. But even when I was fighting, I can remember taking 2 coach loads of people. 2 coach loads of people, you know, to a show that I was fighting on in Batley Frontier, at the Batley Frontier, fighting in a kickjutsu tournament. Never got any ticket money or money for it. You know, I've never been paid for a fight ever. Most people haven't. And you know, nowadays you've got ticket deals and stuff like that, so fighters got the ability to make a little bit of money. You know, but like half the time it's like a £5 a ticket. So if you can sell 50 tickets, you've got 250 quid. Sell 100, you've got 500 quid. But it hardly covers the expenses of training and your dieting and how you have to put your life on hold. You know, and like I say, the generation I were in the early doors, we actually paid to fight. We used to turn up at an open tournament and you paid to enter the tournament. Guys are doing this now with the grappling and stuff like that, and they're still doing it with the kickboxing. It's paying to enter, to have the privilege of fighting. You know, it's a completely, you've got to have a passion for this. You know, and as for, you know, I run Leeds Cage. You know, I train quite a lot of people and stuff like that. I obviously get paid for it. I do a professional job. I want paying for it. But for a lot of years, I taught and I didn't make any money at all. You know, I could make a lot more money if I went Mac Dojos, but I ain't going to do that. You know, that's basically selling black belts. High five, well done to wankers that can't do fuck all. And I won't do that. You know, you've hung around here, you've seen what the crack is. You know, I don't have an edit button. I say what I think. And people either like the brutal honesty or they don't. And I'm indifferent. You know what I mean? In this martial arts world where I live, in this little bubble, you know what I mean? People either love me or hate me. And I don't really give 2 fucks. As long as, you know, I've got to get results with my guys. I care about my guys. And my girls. You know, when I've had female fighters, you know, I've looked after them. It's what's good for them that matters.
Can you still like remember your first fight? How did it go?
Like I say, I was a little kid. 12, something like that. And it was an old school that's been knocked down now in Beeston, Bewley Street School, I think it was. And we turned up there all excited, and there were a crowd and all that sort of thing, and you went out there and you just tried to punch the living daylights. I'm not saying at 12-year-old I was Sugar Ray Leonard or a great boxer, I wasn't. I was just there, getting in there and got stuck in, fighting 3 1.5-minute rounds. The scoring system in there was different. It wasn't like the 10-9 of today. I think I got 48 points and the other guy got 48.25. They had a really weird scoring system. Never fully understood that. Never knew what all that were about. And I got beat. I wasn't hurt. Being knocked about a bit, and he'd been knocked about a bit. We got stuck into each other. 2 little guys in a ring, windmilling at each other. And gradually, over time and experience and stuff like that, you learn how to box correctly. And then, ultimately it's looking for like a Leeds champion, and then you're looking for a Yorkshire champion, and then nationals, with the boxing. Great sport for kids. One of the things maybe now, in retrospect, the sparring in this place, I keep it pretty light. There's very rarely any heavy sparring. I try to eliminate the concussive strikes, where when we started, we were hitting each other full power on a nightly basis. You didn't pull nothing. You fought every night, where I think nowadays most coaches are steering away from the sort of gym war scenario where you're just beating the shit out of each other every night. It's no good for you. It's no good for a peer. There's only so much that can take, and I've taken quite a few. But, it's how it is. But it's a sport. If you play rugby, you bang your head a lot. If you play football, you get your knees kicked a lot. You can cop for one in the head as well. So concussive strikes and stuff like that, I try to eliminate them as much as possible, so that the fighters are only receiving concussive strikes, or hopefully not receiving them, when they actually take part in a competition or a fight night or whatever. From there, it's very important. You've got to look after your people.
Can just get my jacket real quick. It's pretty easy. Sorry.
You want to try working on building sites?
So what keeps you going when you were younger in fighting? Like, what is it pushes you? Is it for glory? Is it for money? Is it for...
It was definitely in for money. And it isn't really for glory. It's just something I wanted to do. It's just like, why do guys turn out and play Sunday league football? Because they like it. They do it. Some people like to kick a football about, some like to pass a rugby ball about, someone likes to hit a tennis ball, a golf ball or whatever. I like to sort of test myself against other people. I'm not a world champion or anything like that. I've won a few tournaments, been a tournament champion, been a grand champion, stuff like that. But it's just competing against someone else. No malice in it. You're just trying to be the better man on the day. And sometimes you are, and sometimes you're not. I just find martial arts fascinating. The benefits of it. And martial arts, you bump into guys, I used to play football, I used to play rugby, I was really fit back in the day. Martial arts, my fight career ended 17 years ago. I stopped. I was well old anyway then. But I was fighting in veterans. I was enjoying it and all that. And I'm still here, and I'm still training martial arts. I'm still trying to improve, and that's one of the things about martial arts. Martial arts lasts for a lifetime. I hope I'm doing this until I croak. You know, I definitely do. I love it. It's great. Coming down here, working out on bags, you know, doing a bit of grappling, a bit of light sparring. Don't do any heavy sparring, I don't like that. I don't need that shit. I do all sorts. You know, Friday evenings, I fence on a Friday evening with the sabre. I love fencing. And once again, it's a combat thing. It's so fast, the blades move really, really quickly. We're all padded up and all that, and it's just fun. And I am a competitive person, I suppose. You know, I can lose, but I don't like it. But, you know, you have to accept with martial arts, there's always a faster gun. Someone who's going to beat you. You know, you can fight one guy and beat him, and he can beat another guy that can beat you. You know, it's timing. There's so many equations in this thing and movement. But one of the things about mixed martial arts is, or any martial art, there's so many techniques at your disposal that you can actually rebuild yourself. When we were on open circuit, you know, fighting points, fighting light continuous, that sort of stuff, which neither of them are light. We used to bang each other back in the day, we did, you know. The season would end probably late October, early November, and that'd be it. You'd be done for sort of Christmas time, and it'd kick up again either late January or early February. And you had to come up with something else. You'd been using something, it'd been working all year, but people were wise to that, so you had to reinvent yourself to go back out there and to have continued success. Or hopefully have continued success, you know. So that time was spent rebuilding, working new techniques, coming up with new ideas. And we used to work together as a team to do that. You know, we used to be the Aegis kickboxing team, which was like a formidable team. But we're all getting on now. I'm the oldest. The other guys are all in the sort of late 40s, 50s. You know, I was the old guy back in the day, you know, because I started earlier, before anybody else. But it's what you like to do. You know, I love it in the bag. I love training. I used to love, most fighters can't stand running. They can't stand the road work, the running. I loved the running. I used to do marathons for fun. You know what I mean? Never had a problem. Guys would say, oh God, I can't stand running. Well, you need that cardio. I liked the running, but I can't do it anymore. My knees not as great. I can run on a treadmill, but God, that's boring. Yeah, I just love the training. Love combat sports.
So, how and when did you transition from a fighter to a coach?
I've been coaching all the way through. I first started teaching in a community centre in 1975 up at Cookridge. Me and my brother started coaching then. We set up some classes and worked from there, and gradually I've always been coaching. That was one of the things about when I was competing on the open circuit. I was running around all day, cornering people. Then someone would tap me on the shoulder and say, oh, John, you're fighting on area so-and-so, or whatever. And I'd have to grab my gloves, gum shield, and get my gear on, shoot on and fight, which detracted in some ways from some of the performances that I gave. And I've been on fight nights where I've been cornering fighters all night, and then I've been fighting later on, you know, which ain't a real good way of doing it, but it's what you do. And, you know, it's what you do. Once you get to a certain level, you're coaching. Oh, hopefully you're coaching. Some people can't coach. You know, some people they don't. It's all about them. But you know, if you care about people and you're really interested in martial arts, you'll do it. You know, you'll coach and teach. Some people are not fighters and they want to teach. You know, and I don't say that you have to be a fighter to be a good coach. If you can understand movement and breaking down things and all that, it's quite, you know, you can be still good. I think it helps having experienced the walkout and the butterflies and everything like that. Because when you're fighting, you know, no matter how confident a fighter looks, he's not. You know, he's got butterflies. It just might be able to mask it better than some people. But, you know, I've been coaching a long time. And my coaching back then and my coaching now has altered massively. And this, in another 5 years' time, my coaching will have altered. It's something that I actually pursue. You know, I check things out. You know, with the advent of, you know, the computers and laptops and stuff like that, you can check all sorts out. There's loads of shit out there, but you have to weed through that and you find good stuff. You know, and different adaptations on technique. You know, someone had have told you years ago that, oh, you've got to do it this way. Well, it's unlimited, really. You can do it many ways. But you have to research it, drill it, introduce it, see how it works. And something that might work for me might not work for him or her, you know, and vice versa. So you've got to actively, consciously try to improve, you know, on what you're doing. It's an absolute essential. I draw things from other sports, lots of other sports, because it's all about movement. You know, it's about movement, how people move and how they do things, you know, and incorporate it into what I do. Some of my drills, you'll see me using rugby balls and basketballs and all kinds of bloody balls, you know, to develop someone in a certain way. Sometimes you have to create a distraction to get something from somebody. So you put something in the way, you know, you put something there to get to achieve what you want. I've had people say, why am I doing this? And just keep on doing it. It'll improve you. You know, like I want to get, you know, I'll get them dribbling a basketball to get them on the balls of the feet. You know, I'll get them chasing. I was only doing this the other week. I was in a park training a female fighter, and I've got a rugby ball. And basically, she stands outside at me. I boot the rugby ball as far across the pitch as I can, and she's got to chase it and get to it before that ball hits the floor. It gives her something to chase. You know, a greyhound won't run that fast if he hasn't got a rabbit to chase or a hare or whatever it is to chase. Never been to greyhound races, but I've seen it. Yeah.
When did you start at this gym?
This one here?
Yeah.
2008 I've been here. But I've had gyms all over Leeds. This is the biggest one I've ever had. I've got 6,000 square foot here. Some have been really small. My first actual gym were 2 cellars knocked together underneath the shop. I knocked all walls out and put girders in and stuff like that. Most of the guys of my age and my generation, we've all been in the garages with bloody mattresses on the floor and people throwing carpet out, and we've been getting it and building layers up with bloody carpet and underlay and stuff like that to give us a soft surface to train on and stuff like that. We come from there, you know, going to Army and Navy stores and buying kit bags, old soldiers' kit bags, and filling them full of whatever, you know, to make punch bags, you know. When I first started, it was practically impossible to buy a pair of Foulkes mitts or pads. We had to make our own. You couldn't get them. And in karate, they didn't use them. Yeah, they're always punching thin air. So so I've had various gyms.
Yeah, can you talk more about like this gym? Like,
It's old. It leaks. We get rid of one leak, another one appears. Building predates 1860. It's cold. But it has a vibe in here. You come in on a really busy night, it's got a right vibe. Guys sweating, working out, listening, trying to improve, working on so many different aspects. And everything that I've got in here is required to make a fighter. Whether they're flipping tyres, swinging sledgehammers, using battling ropes, overhead bars, pegboard over there, whether you use the pegboard, building up strength, building up functional strength, and then also doing conventional weights and kettlebells. You can't just... days have gone where a guy can turn up 2 or 3 times a week and fight adequately at anything like a high level. Where he just turns up, does a bit of skipping, does a bit of bag work, does a bit of sparring, does a bit of pad work and goes home, sit-ups and press-ups, goes home. Them days have gone. You've got to produce a precision athlete, and that's one of the hardest things about this. Guys say to me, "Oh, John, I want to fight. Can you get in here 5 times a week?" "Oh, no, I can't do it." "Well, you're not fucking fighting then, are you?" Unless they can give me that, because they want so much from me. They want me to give them input, tell them what to eat, motivate them, right? If they can't be asked to get in 5 times a week, then they can fuck off. Forget about being a fighter. I did that for no promise of money, wealth, or anything like that. I just did it because I wanted to do it. I've had, 2 wives, 5 kids, run my own business, run my own gym, and still found time to train. So any of that bullshit like, "Oh, I'm a bit busy at the moment and all that, I really can't fit this in." Like, fuck off, knobhead. And don't fucking think about being a fighter. I used to get up and go running at 5:30 in the morning when I was in fight camp. Do 5 mile. Then go to work and do a physical job. Then come home, deal with all my admin and all that sort of stuff. Yeah? Then go somewhere and coach and teach. Or drop into someone else's class and get coached or taught by other people.
So I think you mentioned about like something that happened in this gym right back then. The flood. You said that.
Oh, the flood. Oh, that was a fucking nightmare. Yeah, we had about 1 metre of water all the way through the gym. And we could never get insurance because we're on a floodplain. We've got flood defences now, but whether they'll keep out if we got a really bad flood. It was 1947, the last flood. Then we had this one about 4 years ago. And I'd been working really hard. I'd been doing a really big construction job. And then we got a flood warning on Boxing Day. And we were so looking forward to having some time off at Christmas. We'd had such a busy year. And then we came down here on Boxing Day. The river is already getting into the car park. The council are fucking useless. And the following day, we had 1 metre of water in here. There was nothing we could do. What were we supposed to do? Get in touch with council. Have you got any sandbags? No, they haven't. They didn't have a fucking single sandbag. And then all you had, then we just had to start putting everything back together. But fortunately, my members came in. They were off. The ones that were off work came in and grafted their asses off, along with myself and my missus. And we put the place back together. We were supposed to reopen on the 4th of January, and we reopened on the 6th. But it was filthy, man. All shit and everything that had come out of drains came up. Lost loads of judo mats, that we couldn't replace. But we did it. All these other interlocking mats that you see were all disinfected. We were using loads and loads of disinfectant. And then you've got some dickhead from council coming around with a clipboard and an high-vis fucking jacket on and a hard hat. "Oh, how has this affected you?" We were like, fuck off, knobhead. How do you think it's fucking affected me? Where's there's help? We pay rates, we pay taxes. It was the Kirkstall volunteers that really helped all them hippie bastards. You know what I mean? They were coming round. They really, the Kirkstall Volunteers, they're all a bit out there. But, they were great. They were really good. They really, got it all together. You know, a bunch of hippies. And council's shite. Yeah, go on.
So looking back now, what's like the highlights of your career? Like the ups and downs?
It's a fighter's life. Anybody, you know, you train like mad and win a tournament and you get the big trophy and all that business. All you do is throw it in your bag. And then soon got over that one. You can't sort of wander around with your championship belt round your waist and look at this trophy that I've won. You know, it's bloody. I'm fucking great, mate. You know you're not. Someone else is training to beat you all the time. You know, it's just a laugh. You know, the camaraderie that you get in a gym, the way we back each other, and also I'm still here. All these years later, I'm still here, and I have trained literally hundreds, maybe even thousands of people. Well, I've trained thousands and thousands of people, but hundreds and hundreds of fighters. And they've all gone and they've moved on with their life. They keep in touch. You know, every now and again you get a message, you know, and they always say the same old thing. They're going to come back training. They're really missing it and they want to get back, but they don't because life's taken over. You know, they've got wives, they've got kids, girlfriends, boyfriends, you know, mortgages to pay, jobs to pursue, you know. And when we do catch up, we always reminisce, oh, do you remember this, do you remember that? And that's a good thing, because sometimes you've forgotten some stuff, and some nutty stuff has happened over years in tournaments. You know, like, oh, do you remember when so-and-so, you know, got his bloody arm nearly ripped out or something? Them sort of stories. Not good. Oh, do you remember that time you got knocked out? Yeah. Oh, yeah, thanks for reminding me. You know, we were staying over in a hotel and things that happened, and you know, and all that sort of stuff. You know, it's a fun thing. I suppose anybody gets that. You know, a rugby team on tour, a football team on tour. You know, they have a laugh. You know, and probably got a bit of gallows humour in there. You know, or somebody got damaged and knocked out and we spent all night in accident and emergency while they were having CT scans and stuff like that and brain scans and whatever. You know, do you remember that? You know, all that's gone. Yeah.
So like, going back to like the question, when you were fighting, like before you retired, what do you think like is like the best moment when you were fighting? Like what's like the peak of you?
Not many fights, really. Winning FSK. First time I won FSK, I over at Moon. I was quite happy with that. That was freestyle kickboxing. Won that. Won the Jiu-Jitsu Grand Prix. That were all right. The FSK, I suppose. Got a silver in nationals. Fought my ass off that day. Got knocked out. 1991 that was. Got caught with a jumping spinning back kick. Straight in the solar plexus. Went down like a sack of spuds, but I wasn't unconscious. That stays with me, because that took me a long time to get over that one. Because I just, oh God, I was so pissed off. You know, that I would have lifted the British title. And in them days, there were only one British title. Now everybody you meet's a world champion in one association or a British champion or area champion. It's bullshit. There's more bloody champions than there is actual, you know, jobbing sort of journeyman fighters. You know, it's nuts because there's that many different kickboxing associations. Everybody's got their own world. I think there's about 40 odd. It's ridiculous. You know, back when I was doing it, there were only one world champion. There were only one British champion at each weight. Now everybody's a bloody British champion. You know, but it's how it is. It's moved on, you know what I mean? And it's all about money. It's tournament organisers that think they aren't making enough, so they split from someone else and they split from someone else. And it's so fragmented. And that's what stops us from becoming an Olympic sport. You know, martial arts. I'm not just talking about mixed martial arts. I'm talking about martial arts in general. You know, from there. That's it. Nice to win. And when you lose, you know, you learn. You know, where did I go wrong? What do I need to do in order to beat this guy? You might never beat that guy, but it gives you something to work on. You know, you were dropping your left hand too much, you were wide open, you didn't check this kick, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. You know, it's all about evaluating your losses as well. You know, that's what it's like.
So yeah, how is it like to be a coach, and what makes you qualify as one?
Experience. There's no coaching. You know, people who run coaching courses, I've been on a couple, they're bullshit. It's experience. Being there, doing it, training, day in, day out, learning. You know, someone always set up a coaching course just to get you to pay and take some money off you and qualify you, but who the fuck are there that's qualifying you? You know, you get your black belt. Obviously, you have to have a grading panel and stuff like that to get a black. And you have to fulfill a certain criteria. Then basically, it's how you run with the ball. Some guys get black belts, never want to teach, never want to coach. And it's just been there and evaluating your experiences. There's all sorts of stuff. I'm not a physiotherapist, right? But a lot of times you'll see me doing physio stuff on people in here, you know, and dealing with injuries and stuff like that. I'm not a nurse, but sometimes you'll find me gluing someone's eye back together again, or a cut. Or I'll have a syringe and I'll be sticking it in someone's cauliflower ears, draining them. You know, who's qualified to do that? But this is what fight coaches do, you know. We just learn it along the way by other people doing it on you, and going to a physio and learning from when the physio's treating you and making your injuries better and stuff like that. You copy a bit of that and you do the one that's, oh, this is playing up, so you go, right, try this, that's what physio told me to do, and all that, and it's built up, and then you learn off other people, you know. But what qualifies me to be a coach? Passion and a love of what I do. You know, I don't make shitloads of money out of this. I don't. You know, there's been times when the gym's cost me money, but it's something that I do. You know, like I say, I could go Mac Dojos, one of them bullshitters, and, you know, just sell black belts, sell gradings, and all that. You know, this is Leeds Cage. We don't do that shit here. You know, you want to be a black belt here, it's 6 to 10 years. A graft. And that's how when I was first starting, you know, I didn't get my black belt within 2 years or 18 months or 3 years. I started training martial arts at 17. I was probably a black belt at 23. So that was like 6 years. And I lived in the place. I lived and breathed it. And that's what it takes. You know, anybody, oh, I got my black belt in 2 years. Well, you're not a fucking black belt then, are you? You know what I mean? You'd have to be exceptionally gifted for it to become a reflex action. You know, so you've got to have passion.
Why did you think like kids should learn martial arts at a very young age?
Depends. Some people are doing classes for 2-year-olds these days. I'm not. I usually take them about 4. It's good discipline for them. It gets them active. It gives them confidence. It helps to avoid them getting bullied. Because every school teacher you speak to, there is no bullying in our school. There's bullying in every fucking school. Fucking idiot. But they have to say that to meet the standards. You know, teach a kid. You can get a little kid in here, you know, that's getting bullied, and all that, and you build up the confidence. You get them fit and you get them active. Too many kids are on fucking Xbox and stuff like that and PlayStations. Little fat cunts that are fucking, you know, and they throw a wobbler. Oh, I brought him down. I had one in last week, little fat bastard. And he said, oh, if you take Xbox and he goes fucking mental. I thought, slap the little cunt. Yeah? He'd come into class, then next minute, don't want to do this. He's making me run. I thought, yeah, I am making you run, you little fat twat. You need to lose some fucking weight. You know. Yeah. Kids love exercise. It's just that so many of them are not getting it. You know, they're pulled away in schools. Now, when I was at school, I started playing rugby at sort of 7, right? It were fucking freezing on them pitches, but we played rugby. We got covered in mud. You know, we didn't have showers or up like that at the bloody school we were at. You had to get cleaned up in sink afterwards. But we did that and we competed. And when you were 7, you wanted to be 11 so that you could actually get on the school rugby team. You wanted to be on the school rugby team. And you got to shit the most cheapest, nastiest, shitty badge ever. It was a white thing, one of them really bog standard cheap shit badges. And it said rugby on it. And you were like that on your school jumper. I want rugby team. Right? And you went every Saturday morning and you played at home, you played away. And other kids were doing the same with football. And then in summertime, you wanted to be on cricket team. You know, you wanted to be on that first 11. You know, and you competed at athletics. Now that don't happen at school. So these kids are not getting any exercise. And also they're doing all that working to the lowest denominator. Yeah? If you were shit at rugby when I was at school, you didn't get on the rugby team because you were shit. Yeah? If you were shit at athletics, you didn't get on the athletics team because you were shit. Now it's like, oh no, let's... I went to one of my kids' sports days. What a fucking laugh that was. They've got a fucking basket. Fucking hell, man. You could have thrown... and you have to throw a beanbag into the basket. Oh, well done, you little asthmatic bastards. You know what I mean? Fuck them. It's competition. You know? But that kid, you know, if you work with him, he's going to be a better asthmatic and he's going to lose weight. You know? And he's you know, that's how it is. You know, but if you're going to let him sit on bloody... on his bed all day, shouting down to his mother he wants another burger and another fucking soft drink, and just fucking like that, and we're talking, fucking can't take this off me, you know what I mean? And fucking dream world, innit? You need to get... Kids love competition. I do loads of competitive drills. I am not, as you can tell, I am not PC in any way, shape or form. There's too much of that shit about as well. You know, say it how it is here at Leeds Cage. You know, and, you know, I take the piss out of people, they take the piss out of me. I take the piss out of the kids. They take the piss out of me back. But it's banter, it gets them going, gets them running, gets them fit, gives them skills. So when some other kids are saying, oh, you want to try this? Later on they can say, no, I'm all right, I don't need that shit. Because there's too many steam tugs knocking about and there's too many drugs and stuff, you know. Hopefully encourage them not to sort of go with this knife thing. Which is that's a really mental thing, really. Because when I was a kid, we all carried penknives. Or every little boy had a penknife or a jackknife or a Swiss Army knife with loads of things on it. Nobody ever got stabbed. We didn't stab people. We had them in his pockets. We never pulled the buggers out. We used to whittle on wood and stuff like that. You know? I was in Scouts and we all had like big Bowie knives when I was a kid. You know, but nobody ever stabbed anybody. But now, yeah, it's I don't know. Blame it on rap music. I don't know. Everybody wants to be a gangster, and they're all not. They're not built for it. You know, where martial arts is about being a good person. Yeah. And also, if you train martial arts properly, martial arts is a mirror. you actually see what you're made of by putting yourself through the physical hard training and the grind and facing people that you can be scared of, thinking, this guy could take me to cleaners. Facing him and facing the trials and tribulations of martial arts, right? Makes you stronger. And it also gets you to know who you are, not living behind a facade. And, because every time, if someone ever gets attacked, there's always some bloke in the pub, tell you something, this is what I'd have done. And you think, you fat bastard. You know what I mean? You can't walk to the end of the street without being out of puff. You know what I mean? You wouldn't have done fuck all. But we give the kids the confidence, and adults, that they will make a difference. That if someone picks on them, they can give them a crack, elbow, knee, kick, whatever, and look after themselves. So that they're an independent unit that can make their own decisions. They don't have to win. They just have to hold your ground, which is half the time with bullying and stuff like that. Hold your ground with the bully. When I went to school, bullying, bloody hell, man, it was mental. The teachers bullied you. We all got fucking caned and fucking hit and slapped around the head. That were part of the school process in the sort of 1960s and the 70s. Now, the teachers were all like, do you want to go to a quiet space and all that? Like, fuck off. I'll fucking bang you. You know what I mean? Didn't happen.
How is it like to corner fights in an event?
What's that?
Cornering.
Cornering?
Yeah.
Stressful. You've seen it. Bad night for us that night, wasn't it? 5 fighters out, 1 win. That happens. That happens. Hey, when I say it's stressful, it ain't really. If they follow my instruction, I can see the fight from a corner better than they can see, because some other person's in that ring with them or cage trying to punch and kick them. So if they listen to me, they were mainly novices that were going out that night, not massively experienced. When Kiefer went out, Kiefer's a black belt, been with me quite a long time. You saw what job Kiefer did on that geezer. He fucking knacked him, didn't he? Where the others, they got stuck in, they fought. They've come back, they've still, they learn from it. Look at the videos, see where you were going wrong. Were you really out of breath? Then you need to address your cardio more. Did you feel weak in the clinch? Then you need to address your strength more. Were you checking that kick? Were you blocking that punch? Well, then you need to improve this. It's a learning experience. But you've seen, the hand wrapping, applying Vaseline, putting heat rub on legs, warming them up, cooling them down, warming them up, getting the right tempo. You see some coaches, they actually work the fighters to death. They're absolutely knackered by the time they get in the ring because the warm-up's been so intense. But then again, some fighters need that. Where with us, we do a bit of warm-up, get them stretched out, right, breathe, come on, get your head together. It's getting in here, getting the head on. Getting the head on. They're going to be fully focused. You know what I mean? And deal with them. But, like I say, you don't want your fighters to get beat. Every coach wants his fighter to win. But it doesn't work like that. It's life, innit? From there.
So how is it like to coach and corner like a kid, like Elliot?
Kids, totally different. You've seen me coach. I'm swearing at the fighters. I'm like, you do this, fucking do that. You know what I mean? When a kid, I'm going, right, you're doing really, really well, but you've got to do this. And I'm talking to a child. When I'm talking to an adult, bloody hell, I got a podcast had a pop at me. I had a fighter that had been giving it all that, and what he wasn't going to do and what he was going to do. And he actually got into the cage and did fuck all. It was like a walking, moving punch bag. I went fucking mental with him. And all the crowd could hear me. Like, you fucking useless bastard, fucking fight back. What the fuck are you doing in here? And stuff like that, right? And he still didn't do it. And afterwards, I'm really sorry, John. I went, fuck off, get out of my fucking sight. You know what I mean? What's the fucking point in doing a fight camp? People working with you, and you're going to go in there and fucking freeze. You know what I mean? But nice kid. Didn't hate him. I don't hate him for that. But I think you're wasting my fucking time. You know, I like the kid. But don't waste my fucking time. If you're going to go in there, fight. You know, you're going to go to fight. You know, it's what you've trained for, what you're going to do. You know, but week before, I'm knocking this guy out, I'm knocking that out. Like, fucking shut up. Don't give it all that. You know, to see what happens. He might knock you out. And as it was, you know, and I got really, really incredibly annoyed with him. And then somebody on a podcast saying that, that coach, you know, we're not going to mention his name, but everybody knew it was me, right? He were absolutely brutal with that guy and all that. Yes, because I am. Yeah? A guy's in fight camp and I don't see him for a week. When he walks through that door, he fucking gets it. Where the fuck have you been? Oh, I've had a lot on and all that. You know, blah, blah, blah. I said, I don't give a fuck. What you fucking had on? I've had times in my life where I've been in fight camp and all that. I've got fucking shit on. You know, people fucking die, relatives die, fucking, you know, things go wrong at work and all that. But you're in fight camp, you've got to have your serious head on. You know, your big boy's pants and fucking do the job. You know, I've done it where, you know, I've been in fight camp, worked really, really late, come home, fucking shagged out. It's been fucking snowing, it's been freezing, or whatever it's been. Yeah, and you get like, I love you, all right, to your missus and all that. And she's going, thank God your home kids have been really playing up all day or whatever they've been doing. I always had good kids, to be fair. And you say, yeah, I know, love, I just need to go get my tracksuit on and go for a run now because I've missed that out. Or I need to go in my garage where I've got my punch bag and my weights and I need to beat the shit out of that punch bag because I need to get some training in today because I'm fighting soon and stuff like that. You know, so the big demands. And it's hard on them as well. It's hard on the... You know, the girlfriends and boyfriends and whatever, you know, they have to sort of put up with it. And some fighters, I wasn't one like that. Some fighters get really, really grumpy because they've got to make weight and they're starving. You know, they're starving. They're monitoring the weight, they're training hard, and they're hungry. You know, and that does, and also... you know, you can't have a beer. You can't, you know, that's out the window. You know, so it's hard. And what you getting for it? Kudos, whatever. I don't know. You know, there's so many people have got the dreams of, I'll tell you something, I'm going to train really hard, I'm going to get into UFC, I'm going to be next Conor McGregor. No, you're fucking not. And I say that. You know, and like, he's a right twat, him. He's told me I'll never make it into UFC. No, you won't. It's the same as the guy who's playing for the local football team out of the local boozer. He ain't going to make Premier League. You know, there is guys that you see and you think, yeah, if they could train 6 to 8 hours a day and were sponsored, yeah, they could do it. But... your average guy holding a job down and stuff like that, he's got to be something special, you know, to make it. It's because it's hard. You've got to pay all your bills, keep your wife happy, keep your girlfriend happy, keep your kids looked after, and train like a full-time athlete. It's a very, very difficult thing to do. You know, but so many people, I blame it on fucking Sylvester Stallone. Quite honestly, fucking Rocky movies. I get guys in here, get them in weekly. Hey, I'm going to be a fighter, I want to do this and all that. Because I've watched fucking Rocky again. How many fucking Rockies is he made now? Fucking million. And I'll tell you something now, mate. No matter how hard someone hits me, I'll keep on getting going. I think, you silly cunt. You haven't been fucking hit yet. It fucking hurts. It fucking hurts. And... if a guy gets me down on the floor, somehow, some way, I'll get out of there. It isn't a film, it's real life. When you get kicked in the head, it fucking hurts. When you get kicked in the ribs, it hurts. When you get punched in the face, it hurts. When someone's got a fucking submission on you, it's fucking agony. And you ain't going to get out of it. But they've got this thing, oh, I'm going to train really hard and I'll fight for you next year. And that's the other thing that annoys me. When people tell me that they fight for me. They don't fight for me. I fight for me. They fight for themselves. They might be representing Leeds Cage, but they don't fight for me. You know what I mean? They fight for themselves because they're going to have that passion. They're going to want to do it. You know, and like I say, you know, too many people have watched too many cinematic efforts on the fight game, you know, which the actual reality of getting a really good, educated crack off someone, it hurts. You know, I'll tell you the truth. I've been cracked sometimes and thought, fucking hell, man, what the fuck am I doing here? And any fighter that tells you any different, I think they might be telling fibs. You know, it hurts. The training hurts. You know, but you've got to get your training in, you know, from there. Yep.
Yeah, so like, how is it like to have fighters trusting their lives on you? If that makes sense, yeah.
Fighters. One of the things when I'm doing the corners, they've got to have faith in me. So that I think that's where it kicks in really. When I said earlier on that you do not have to be a champion, you do not have to be a fighter in order to be a good coach. I think people can coach who understand movement. But I think one of the things from the fighter's perspective, they like to know that you've been through what they've been through. Yeah. And they've got to have faith in you. But they've also got to follow the protocol of which you've set on the fight camp. That's why I will get really annoyed. Well, like I've just said, someone goes missing for a week. I was missing sessions, like, what the fuck's going on? And they're coming up with the stupid excuses. There is no excuses. You're going to do this, you do it 100%. You know, so I have a responsibility. If one of my fighters is in trouble, you saw me do it the other week, he took a standing 8 count, he wasn't good after that, but the referee let him go on, then he got knocked down again, and I was straight up on the ring apron, I'm like that, no, he's coming out of there. I'm not having him getting damaged, you know. And sometimes fighters get really pissed off with you when you pull them out. They go like, I could have fucking kept on going, what the fuck? And I just go, fucking shut up, you daft cunt. I fucking got you out there because you might, you know, it's like a referee. People slag referees off. But the referee, his first priority is fighters' safety. That's what he's there for, to enforce the rules. He ain't there to make everybody happy. And, you know, he's there to enforce the rules of the fight. And fighters' safety, that is the first rule of a referee. And it's also the first rule of a coach. You know, and having worked with the guys, some you know can take a bit more than others. And sometimes with reactions, I went corner the way. I'm asking the guy, you know, what's your wife's name? Anyway, I came up with that. You know, sometimes I ask them for the telephone numbers. I want to know that they're still switched on. If they're not switched on, then I'm getting them out of there. Because it's dangerous what we do. It's dangerous. You can get killed. People have been killed. You know, the girl killed last week, I think. It's a terrible, terrible thing to happen. But it happens. You know, so a coach has got to be on it. And sometimes, how would a coach feel? You know, if one of his fighters, he didn't pull him out and ended up dying. God, how would you live with that? No. So you got to go to the, you know, safety first. No, I'm getting you out. And like I say, some of them spit the dummy out of it. Oh, you fucking pulled me out, and they're fucking throwing fucking gloves about. And I just tell them straight. I got you out of there because you were fucking... Well, I'll get nasty then. I'll get you out there because you were fucking shit and fighting like a wanker. So fuck off. You know, because they come at me with aggression. They'll get it back. You know, you're fighting like a tit. So I fucking pulled you out. You're in trouble. Get you out. And that's what you've got to do. You know, it's a full-on, isn't it? It's a full-on thing. It's a passionate thing. You've seen it. You know, the crowd, what does the crowd, the average Joe in the street, what does he pay for? He pays
to come and see some fucker get knocked out doing something that he daren't do. He comes to see some blood, as long as it's someone else's and not his. That's what your average punter's looking at. And then he likes to spout afterwards, if I'd have been that guy, I'd have done this and I'd have done that. They've had no training. What the fuck do you know? You know, and things can go wrong on the night. You know, people are always spouting. Me, and anybody who's really experienced in that, you know what you want to see? You want to see a good set, a good skill set, good technique. You know, I don't have to see a lot of claret and stuff like that. I don't have to see someone get knocked out to enjoy, you know, two people physically competing against each other in a combat sport. You know, I can appreciate the aesthetics of it and the movement and stuff like that. But that thing, oh, I hope he knocks him out, I hope he fucking kills him. You can be at fight shows and there'll be a woman there going, kill him, fucking kill him. I'm like, what the fuck is that about? You fucking stupid bitch. Well, I've said it a few times, so fucking sit down, you stupid bitch. You know what I mean? You fucking animal. I don't want to see nobody get killed. I don't want to see it all like that. You know, but you do see it. You know, some guy. And then you've also got the punters in there that have never had a fight in their life, and suddenly, fucking Billy Big Balls after they've watched it. You know something, I could fucking do that. And they come up to you as well after you've been cornering and go, hey mate, where do you train? Because I'm going to get down there this week. And they're there with pint in hand and belly and all that, or there's some skinny cunt or whatever. And like, I'm going to get training with you next week. Where are you? Where are you? Yeah, right, I'm going to be down. I'm telling you, I'm going to be down every night because I can do this. You never see him. Never see him. You know, it's thing, but it's you know, fighting's a very primeval thing, isn't it? You know, it's a very primeval thing. The ability to do it. You know, kings and stuff like that. Basically, they got their thrones and all that because they could fight better than everybody else, and they could get a crew together that could fight better than everybody else and just steal everybody's land. You become a king. Mad. Good, because you got me rabbit in. Well, we're done then, Wilson. He'll go really quiet now, Goldberg. It's just fucking great, Foulkes, Goldberg. Proudest moment as a coach? There's so many. I've taught people up to, you know, they've won British titles, world titles, European titles, you know, in various disciplines and stuff like that. And they're all sort of good moments, but that's just looking from the sporting aspect. I've had people come in that, you know, adults, and I've had children that have been getting bullied. I've had adults coming here that are getting bullied. You know, it's amazing that there's a lot of bullying in offices and places like that, managers bullying people. And they come in, and I've had guys that have been out in Leeds and they've had the shit kicked out of them on a Saturday night. They've been out having a pleasant evening, and some dick has set about them. You know, some fucking nasty, violent, fucking usually steadhead, or some chavvy bastard. And they come in here and like, I need to learn how to fight and stuff like that. And you've said, right, okay, what's happened? And they tell you their experience, and they're pretty horrendous, really. You know, that like, oh, please, look, I just don't want any trouble. And half the time, the bullying bastards, that's what they want to hear. I don't want any trouble. Please, come on, I don't want any trouble. And they think, yeah, victim, bang, and they kick the shit out of them. And then you take this person that's sort of a nice human being, and they have suddenly had to face violence and had the violence inflicted on them, and you can turn their life around. And I've done it on quite a lot of occasions. Say, right, okay, that shit's happened, put it behind you. Now we'll start training you. And they've never had a fight in their life. You know, and you turn them round and you say, right, you know, how did it, you know, you don't dwell on the subject too much. You say, right, you use that now. You never want that to happen again. So now we will teach you how to fight. Nobody walks through that door a black belt unless they're already a black belt. You know, every one of us, we've all been through the grading process. You know, we start off as a white belt, not knowing how to fight. I went into a boxing gym. I couldn't box.
you know, and I'd had fights in school playground and on the street with other kids and stuff like that. I couldn't box. I learned to box. You learn to do martial arts, you know, which entails boxing, mixed martial arts. It entails everything. And you build up the confidence and you turn it round and you get this, you know, you think about it. You know, you're out you're having a pleasant time with your friends and some shithead fucking wrecks it. You haven't done anything nasty. How do most fights start? What are you looking at? What are you looking at? And you're thinking, I'm not looking at all. I've got my eyes open. Just say, you looking at my bird? Are you looking at me? You fucking staring at me? And they're like, what the fuck is your problem? And really what you should do with these people, as soon as they start giving it that, as soon as they get into your space, bang, fucking hit them and give them a kick. Right? And deal with them. Or you just turn around and go, I'm fucking looking at you, you can't. What you've got for it? And they go, hey, oh no, woo. And they back off then, but they're looking for a victim. And so anyway, you get a nice person and they've been some twat's fucking victim. Right? Because they don't know how to handle themselves and stuff like that. And then you build them up. You get them in here. Get them on a little weights program, get them into circuit classes, build up the physical strength, which will come quicker than the martial arts skill. Get them in the bag, show them how to work the bag, and build up the confidence and say, how much do you weigh? You know what I mean? We will teach you how to put that body weight into that. Yeah? Into that foot, into that knee, into that elbow. And then we build them up, and you watch them change. And that is probably a much better achievement, because getting humiliated and having the shit kicked out of you can really affect someone's mental health and well-being. And probably that's a probably bigger achievement than your world titles. You know, turning a life around, and that's what martial arts is for. And most of the people that train with me don't fight. They don't want to fight. And really and truly, sometimes I look back and think, why the fuck did I want to do that? But I did. And I'd probably do it all again. But, you know, that's probably more of an achievement. Yeah.
So when do you call it quits? Like, how hard is it for you to retire from, like, fighting? Like,
quitting?
Yeah.
That's not an option. I'll be coaching here till I croak. Yeah? I've got 2 met lips. If it weren't for sort of medical science, I wouldn't be able to walk. I've had 2 hip resurfaces. I went to go get them checked out yesterday. My right hip's 15 years old, and this one's about 5 years old. 5 years old, this one. It cost me thousands. But I've worked around it. I've come back. I've had all the neural pathways that sent the commands for me to throw a roundhouse kick or any kick you want, and how to move. I've had all the neural pathways cut, and I've had to come back in this gym and reopen them neural pathways again and find new ways of sending messages to the muscles to get my legs moving again and get my movement going again. And I've done that, which, you know, it's part of the trials and tribulations of being an elderly martial artist. Because a lot of the training methods when we first started were shite. The guys didn't really know what they were doing. It were, you do this because that. But people weren't supposed to be still throwing the legs about and doing what I do at my age, you know, into the 60s. And this guy's doing it in the 70s. So I don't... I've got to keep active. If you don't... I'm a big believer in if you don't use it, you lose it. You know, it's so I just I'm going to do this until I can't do it. And the only reason I won't be able to do it, you know, I've got there. If I don't get dementia or something like that, you know, and I've been punched in the head a lot, so you could get pugilistic dementia, you know, from a young age. But then again, I read a lot, I study a lot, I do all sorts of stuff.
Sorry to interrupt you, John. I'm talking about like competitive like fighting, like
me competitive fighting.
Yeah, I mean like
I don't do it.
Years ago, you said like you retired from like competitive
Yeah,
fighting?
I'd done enough about time, wasn't it? What were I, 46, 47, something like that.
So like, how hard is it for you to like quit from that?
Hard at first. You go to a tournament, you go to a fight show, and you feel like a fraud at first. You think, okay, now I should be fighting. I should be, I should be have a fight, and and then you get over it. You know, it's a big part of your life. You know, it's like, you know, I suppose it's being a great footballer or something like that, and then you're having your final game. You know, and it isn't like that with fight game. You just suddenly you think, you know, injuries were coming on, the right hip were going. You know, that were the beginning, the end of it, really. You know, there's guys competing in sort of veteran sort of things and stuff like that, but it's not something I really want to pursue. I fought in the veterans in my 40s, but I don't really want to pursue it. You know, I've got over that now. And you find a new meaning. You know, it ain't all about competition. You know, when I was on about previous to this, when I misinterpreted what you asked about, you know, great moments and stuff like that. You know, martial arts, it isn't about competing. It's not even about violence. It's about getting to know yourself. So that's just one of stopping competing. Yeah, when you first couple of years, you can go into a tournament and you're thinking, and you're looking at the category that you used to fight and you think, I could beat that fucking lot. You know, and everybody coming up to you and going, oh, you fighting today? You fighting today? You fighting today? And all that sort of stuff. And, you know, and you go, no, I've knocked it in the head now, I've retired. To be fair, I had more comebacks than bloody Frank Sinatra. I was supposed to retire mid-30s and I didn't. It just kept on getting drawn back into it. But then again, there were certain fights I got offered that I didn't take because I knew they could kick the shit out of me. I thought, nah, too young, too fast. You know, my last full contact fight, I fought a guy who was Scottish kickboxing champion. It was his 21st birthday. I was 41. Do you know what I mean? Beat him. Beat him through experience because I pulled every dirty trick in the book on him. You know what I mean? I really did. I did every dirty trick in the book on that kid. You know, within the rule system. Because I know how to play the rule system. A lot of fighters do. You know. But it's, you just get over it. Got to get over it. But, you know, still training. Still motivated. Love it. It's great.
So talking about like gaining like advantage on your opponent, have you like done anything to gain advantage over your opponent? I mean, like,
Never taken any gear. I've fought guys that have had gear. You know what I mean? Bit of whiz and stuff like that, and roids and stuff like that. I've fought guys, never ever, just not in my makeup. It's cheating. You know what I mean? I have done some dirty strokes on people, but then again, I've had them done on me. You know, you'd be amazed how many times you get headbutted. And elbowed when there's no elbows in rules, kneed when there's no knees in it, stuff like that happens. Poked in eyes. You know what I mean? And you learn it's called gamesmanship, and you think, yeah, you start doing it back. You know, but having taken any performance enhancing drugs, and I'll tell you something as well. Anybody takes them in here, they're out. It's not part of the game. It's not part of the game. At a high level, they're doing it. You know, but there's millions at stake. So I can actually, you know, and they know that everybody else is doing it as well. So it's just how you mask the drugs in it. So I've been told. Don't know anything about it. And definitely would not endorse it. And definitely never done it myself. Not at all. Just won't, not in my makeup. Just eat right. Train right. Have right attitude. You know, that's it. Really. But there is a lot out there.
So what's your family's view or like perspective on you like fighting back then? Like you like fighting competitive?
My mother, who I love dearly, um, uh, she'll still say to me now, "Oh, why are you still doing that after all these years?" But it's what's moulded me, you know. She never liked the boxing when I was a kid. She never liked the fighting from there. My first wife wasn't keen. She was like, if you get brain damaged, I am not going to look after you. And all that, like, it's looking great, smashing, thank you. Yeah, fuck all. She never supported me in it. You know, do you have to do this? You know, she liked the fact that I used to make quite a bit of money out of it. Not fighting, but teaching here, there and everywhere. You know, and doing seminars and stuff like that. She liked the money aspect, but she didn't like the fact, you know, because like, and also I suppose, you know, with anybody that you involved with, you know, the amount of time you have to spend on it, as well as living, you know, running a business, running a gym, then running your own fight camp, stuff like that, you know. So it is a strain, but the kids, my children were always like, well, you know, my dad's won this, my dad's won that, my dad's fighting this weekend. They were quite cool with it, you know, from there. But
how hard is it for them to like see you lose a fight?
the kids come out battered. You know, I've had a few cracks and stuff like that, but you know, you're not coming out. You know, if you know your stuff and you're evenly matched, you're not going to come out with a face out all over the place like this. You know, it's just one of them things. And they learn by it. Oh, Dad, you lost. Yeah, okay, yeah. It happens, son. You know what I mean? He was a better man on there. They've probably seen me win more times than lose. But it happens. This is life. It's a life experience, isn't it? You know, if everybody got a result every time they did something, you know, would it be life? You know, we all have setbacks. You know, and sometimes I think, look back, you know, I've been in that, you know, I never really had a coach. I did when I was boxing, but martial arts-wise, I never really had a coach. I actually got coached by the people that I'd taught and coached, if that makes any sense. You know, the other lads that I was training, I'd ask them for feedback. You know, give me feedback. You know, and also it would be them guys that would be cornering me, and I was the guy that trained them. You know, so that's how it works. I've trained them. I've got faith in them. They've got faith in me. You tell me what to do. Yeah, I've you know, it happened on a number of occasions.
So how did you like deal with like your losses in your career, like the whole, like when you like fighting competitive? How did you like deal with the losses?
Just get over it, don't you? You know, it wasn't like, you know, I got up in the morning and I was, you got to get over it. What am I supposed to do? You know, transfer my frustration onto my wife and my kids. You know, some do, but that's not my game. You know, fucking lost. Raf Nito, he was British, European and world champion. He knocked me out in 91. And didn't go home and beat the wife and kids up or out like that. Very frustrated with that. And I put a picture of Raf next to the mirror in the bathroom, out of a magazine. Nice guy is Raf, done very, very well with his sculls. And he was the better fighter on the day. But, I give him a do. We had a do. We're doing all right. But he was British, European and world champion. I was a coach, fighter that just fights on circuit and all that. And I got to the final. That was my fourth fight a day. And Raf got me with the jumping spinning back kick. And it was specialty. He put me on the floor 3 times in the first 30 seconds. But I got up. And and it really got to me. And I really, really, really wanted to fight him again. I really wanted to fight him, and it never happened. But then I fought a guy from Scotland. And I beat him easily. And then in the following year, the 92 British Championships, this kid beat Raf convincingly. That's how the fight game goes. Where this guy from Scotland beat Raf easily, and Raf beat me. It's what happens. But no, you live with it. What am I supposed to do? Go out, transferred frustrations and aggressions. That's for people with weak minds. I got home, I got a silver, and it mattered. And people remembered that fight for quite a few years afterwards, and probably still do now. They remember it. People say, "Oh God, I remember when you fought Raf." I was like, "Yeah, I got fucking knocked out." So, how it is. But I got a silver for that. And that won, there were only 1 British Championships. Took a fucking lot to get that silver. I had 3 fucking hard fights before I even got to that one. And he was British, European and world champion, and he was good. He was very good. And he trained, he was full-time. I wasn't. I was running my roofing and building business, running the gym and training around, having a wife and umpteen kids. So, you've got to get it in perspective. But that one, I really wanted to fight him again. Really, I felt, really wanted to fight him again. But it was very, very good. Whether I'd been able to beat him again, I don't know. But I wanted to test it, try.
Last 2. What sorts of long-term injuries have you suffered from fighting competitive, when you were fighting at a circuit or back then?
I have had to have 2 hips replaced. I've got a broken thoracic spine, torn my cartilage, damaged my medial ligaments, dislocated jaw, nose has been broke about 7 times, been cut, broken arm through blocking a kick, blocked a kick, broke my arm, didn't actually know at the time. I didn't know about the broken thoracic spine neither until much later on. And then usually when I get x-rayed, they keep on saying, "Oh, when did you break this?" I'm like, "I didn't know I broke that." You just, you know what I mean? It's just how it goes. Then just bumps and bruises, broken ribs. It comes with the territory, doesn't it, really? It comes with the territory. So I think I'll give you a list there. Might have some more, but I can't remember. From there. It's just, it goes with territory. It's what happens. Then the thing is, you've been fighting at the weekend and all that. You've got to be at work a bloody Monday morning. Oh, calcified legs. I've had calcified legs a couple of times.
I remember I had a job which had I was fitting out a nursery, and it had a time schedule on it, and I was literally on crutches going around that job, supervising men and all that, and I wasn't supposed to be. The doctor told me that I had to have my leg up in the air for 7 days, or then I would have to be put in pot for 6 weeks, but the work had to go on. You know, it had to be done. You know, so if you find yourself, what are you going to do? Fall on floor and start crying? You just get on with it. It happens. Yeah.
So John, what's like the end goal for martial artists? What's like the end goal?
The end goal?
Yeah. What's like?
It all depends what you do it for. Some people, you know, train because they like to keep fit, and it's interesting, and it's got loads of variations in it and loads of different perspectives within the training. It's not one-dimensional in any way, shape or form. You can get good at one thing and then you need to work at that thing. It's like being a little Dutch boy sticking his finger in the dam when the dam's bursting. You know, stick your finger in that hole and another one appears there, and so you have to keep on working. It's like being on Foulkes Bridge, you have to keep on painting it. You paint the Foulkes Bridge, you get to the side, and then you paint it again, you know, and off you go. So there's loads to keep you occupied within martial arts. You can't get bored. People say, I got bored of martial arts, and they never really fucking studied martial arts, did they? Some people want to have shitloads of fights and become a champion. Fair enough. And they do that, then they walk away. Some people want to achieve black belt. And do that, and they walk away. Hopefully they don't, but I do know that some people have got the black belt now. That's it. Bucket list. You know. Some people want to be in the UFC. Some people want to be in, ONE FC, which is probably a better tournament than UFC. Getting UFC, you have to sell your soul. Literally. And the money's not that great. Not until you get right up to the top. It's not that great. It'll just pay for your training. You know, enable you to just knock work in the head and pay for your training. But 3 strikes and you're out. 3 losses and you're gone. Face don't fit, you're gone. And you've sold all your sort of rights to you. You know, even your image rights and stuff like that. You know, so people doing that. That never sort of occurred with people like me. You know, it was a big thing to have your picture in a magazine. You know, which we did. But no, the magazines, the martial arts magazines don't exist anymore now, do they? You know, I only ever bought them actually when I were in them. Used to buy them avidly when I was a kid, but no, not now. And then in recent years, I only, if I were in it, if there was an article on me or the picture of me winning the tournament, something like that, then I'd buy it. And other than that, I won't buy it. So I suppose it's people like me that's to blame for not buying magazines. That's it, really. What's your end goal in anything? You want to be good. You know, you want to be good.
So, like, what's your end goal then?
My end goal?
Yeah.
Well, I thought I just covered it. My end goal. I just keep on doing it because I love it. There's no end goal there. I turn up. It's like Groundhog Day. I turn up. Here, I coach. Look around. See, who's coming through. You know what I mean? It's about their end goal, not about mine. My end goal. Doesn't matter if I didn't have Leeds cage, right? I'd have a punch bag in my garage. I'd have some weights. I'd have a running machine. And I'd just be training on my Todd. Or maybe with another elderly martial artist or a young martial artist. I'm just going to keep on training. It's what I love to do. You know, it's what I love to do. It's great. You know, I do all sorts. What define what is martial arts? Sometimes I'm down here. You've probably noticed target down there. I'm firing my longbow
Oh, I've got it ain't a long bow, it's a recurve bow. I'm firing my bow at a target down there, or I'm firing my crossbow, or I'm here and I'm fencing with somebody. You know, from there. That's the end game. They didn't know what else without question, mate. Yeah, just keep on going.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah,
Right. Okay.